Hey guys, Nathan Brandon Masters. Just waiting for people to enter the chat here. Are you kidding me right now? I hate to, like, every time I start a live stream, something like that happens. But I'm not going to shut the stream down this time. I'm going to keep going. And what I'm going to do here is let me grab my cell phone because I need to see, as you guys probably know already, I need to see the chats when they come up. So let's see what goes on there. And I can see everybody when they pop up. So we got one person. How's it going? And so I'm going to wait just a little bit more, see if anybody else pops up. But this chat is pretty much self-explanatory anyway. This is the lunch of Epitaph Bread and Salt. You guys know Epitaph Bread and Salt is one of our first ever one of the first comic books that we published. And basically, last time we did Victor Locke Demonor. And Victor Locke Demonor didn't go exactly the way we planned for it to go. And I didn't do a flexible funding goal. So basically what ended up happening, of course, when it runs out, if you didn't make that goal, everything, all the money goes back to the people that backed it. But what I did was I said I was going to set something up so that as soon as that stopped, this would launch. And I did a soft launch for it early this morning. I think it was what, like probably midnight or maybe later than that when I actually launched it. So this was a soft launch, and then I said I would announce it later on. So we already have two backers. We already have two backers that were backers from the Victor Locke Demonor campaign. And so now we're going to start this all over again and see what we can do with this campaign. Now, if you've seen the Epitaph Bread and Salt movie, you know what this campaign is about. This is everything that happens after the movie. So give you a little bit of background about this. Basically, we did the comic book first. And then after doing the comic book, we went back and we did the movie based on the comic book. But the movie was a prequel to this. I think I talked about this when I did the Victor Locke Demonor stuff. So basically, guys, what we have going on here, Epitaph, Bread and Salt, beginning of the end graphic novel. And what I'm going to do here is just kind of show it off a little bit. See, I'm in the wrong window here. Okay, so this is, just so you know, we do have a video here. And this video is just from the Epitaph Bread and Salt movie, but that actually sums everything up quite nicely. So I decided to go ahead and just use that, and we'll see what that does. I think that's it's a real nice. It pretty much talks about what the movie and the comic book are about at the same time. So I'm going to work with that. And real quick, let me put the link in the chat. I don't have anything set up properly now. I hear it right now. So okay, I'm going to put the link here in the chat so everybody can see it. So there we go. Has some boomer things happening there. But as you can see, I talked about this already. We already have two backers. We're 7% funded already, which is better than what we did on Victor Locke Demonor, because it took us quite a while to get any kind of real funding. So this is a good start, actually. But we're going to go up a little bit here and show off some of the artwork here. These are some of the posters. These are the two posters that you'll get with the book. You'll get the Victor Locke, the basic poster with the good guys on it, Victor Locke, Decoy, and got Zombie Girl back there who's kind of a good guy. It's kind of iffy on Zombie Girl. And of course, you have the bad guys, Night Evil, Nodus Talbane, and Ashen. Of course, we all know Ashen. And just kind of showing off a little bit of the work and talking about the story a little bit. It says, led by Night Evil, the Sisterhood of Lilith is one of the most powerful infernal cults in Chicago. Their main goal, to ready the world for the return of their goddess, who will then enslave those who worship her and eradicate the rest. And then we talk a little bit about the breeders and Victor Locke and where he comes in, things like that. So we really kind of explain the story, talk about everything that's going on in the book. This is an 80-page graphic novel, so this is going to be much bigger than Victor Locke Demonor was going to be. And like I said, a lot of this work is already done. Everything's already, hey, this is Zombie Girl. A lot of this is already done. And so we have a story by myself, art by Joseph Canave, Really Roods, Karn Nuxjiro, and myself, of course, and covered by Really Roots, and covered by About Canalis. We're keeping that a little bit on the wraps. You'll find out more about that later. Of course, we have our colorist, Caleb Swain, and Layla Pacheco, and letters by Blackout Texture Shop, which is basically my lettering company from like way back in the day that really only did letters for like myself and another company. But these are our funding goals here. Basically, now this is something that I want to get out there. Our thing is to get the books into the hands of the fans, get the books in the hands of people who like this story. So I think I should probably go a little bit more into that and talk about the actual funding goal and all that. But that's the reason why the funding goal is low, is so that we'll have a better chance at hitting it and getting it into the hands of people who really want it. So we did a low funding goal, 60 days this time. Last time we did 50. This time we're doing 60. And we really want to kind of really make it shine. So of course you got more Zombie Girl here. And got to give Zombie Girl some props. There are people who actually backed this project because they wanted Zombie Girl, and there she is. And if you backed Victor Locke Demonor and you backed at the $50 tier, the Zombie Girl tier, you can go ahead and back this tier, back this. The Zombie Girl story is actually in Epitaph Bread and Salt. This is where that story came from. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that later. But here's some artwork here with Victor Locke. Now, this is some retconning here, okay? In the original, Victor had the way it was set up is he was supposed to be he had hair when it was set up. So what ended up happening was in the prequel, he shaved his head to be the Victor Locke we know now. But when I actually shot the film, I had hair, and basically we had it backwards somehow, but I had to go and retcon this so that he would look the way he was supposed to look. And so that was a nightmare. But we did do that. We got a little bit of fighting here so you guys could see that. Now this is Joseph Canave's art, and he was our artist for this book. He was the artist for all of the Epitaph Bread and Salt, the original books. And you'll see a lot. It's Night Evil and Damius. But yeah, so this is what we were doing. And he really did a standout job on this. I really enjoyed this. I really like the art style. We have the stretch goals here, a $3,000 stretch goal. All books will ship with a new cover by Ebi Canalis. You get at the $5,000 goal, all tiers will get an extra trading card by a guest artist. And at the $10,000 goal, It's 10,000 stretch, the 10,000 stretch goal. There'll be a new poster added to the $50 and up tiers by a guest artist. So they'll, instead of getting one poster, you'll get two. And we're also trying to think about whether we're going to do a thing where you're going to get two prints or whether it's going to be one print and one poster. So we got to kind of balance those type of things out. But that's what we're looking at so far. And I think this has a really good chance of getting there. And just so you'll know, at the $75 goal, you'll get all three books. You'll get Epitaph, Victor Locke, and Decoy, and you'll get two posters. You'll get both of the both posters, and you'll get a third poster if we hit that other stretch tier or that other stretch goal. So you'll get all of that. And this is everything. Now, one of the things I did for this campaign was I streamlined the goals. So, or not the goals, the perks. And I've been calling these tiers, but they should be I should be calling them perks because tiers are that other site. But we streamlined the perks here. One of the things that I heard everybody say is that the perks that you don't need to have so many perks. And a lot of the successful campaigns didn't have a lot of perks, and some people added perks that they were asked to add. So we kept it very simple here. The main perks are a $25 perk and a $40 perk and a $50 perk. These are the main perks. Of course, the $25 perk is the featured perk. We already have one claimed already. Now the $40 perk, anybody who ordered Victor Locke Demon Noir, this perk, you will get this book in Victor Locke Demon Noir. So you'll get both books at that perk. And for the $50 perks, you'll get both books, but you'll get the poster with it. And we have two $50 perks, and that means you can have this poster at the first $50 perk, and the second one, of course, is this poster. This is the Epitaph Bread and Salt, the Darksiders, and these are the Hunt is On. This is the Hunt is On poster, and these are the Darksiders over here. So you got some options there. But this is it, and I just want to talk about it, let you guys know that it did launch. And if you guys have any, one last thing. This is the secret stash. Okay, now the secret stash, here's how that works. I have 8 copies of the 3 books that make up this series. Or I'll say the 3 major books that make up the series, because there's actually some more stuff that's in the graphic novel that's not in these 3 books. But the 3 books that make up the series are Epitaph, Bread and Salt, Beginning of the End, Epitaph. I don't know why I'm tongue-tied right now. Epitaph, Bread and Salt, The Darksiders, and of course the Zombie Girl book. So those books are all the 3 books that make up this series. So at the $100 tier, if you order or you back at that tier, you'll get those 3 books plus an original piece of artwork. So you'll get like an original sketch at that tier. So that's why it's a $100 tier. So other than that, guys, that is the campaign. I have it down. I have the campaign down or the link down in the description, but I'm going to actually put it in the comment section and pin it there. The Epitaph Bread and Salt Indiegogo. And let's see, do that so you guys can see it. And you guys can check it out. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. And let me see if I can find the pin here so people can see that there. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We have done this book. This book started back in 2008, I believe, when we first did this. And over time, we worked on it. So Epitaph Bread and Salt has been a big project for me and almost all of our main characters, except for Night Phoenix itself, Night Phoenix himself, I should say, come from this series. So Victor Locke, of course, Night Evil, Ashen, Decoy. That's another thing. Some of the stuff that's not in the book, it's like when you see Decoy for the first time in the actual Epitaph Bread and Salt book. Let's see who else pops up. Ashen. Ashen pops up a lot in the movie, but she does not appear a ton in the Epitaph Bread and Salt book. So you'll kind of see, we just want to kind of introduce her. And just so you'll know, this book, Epitaph Bread and Salt, the first limited series, like the first 3 books that we were doing, they were supposed to open the door for the ongoing series. But we don't do ongoing series now for obvious reasons. But what we will be doing is after this, we will be doing Hexcraft Mechanics, which is the sequel to this. So a lot of stuff that goes on here, you'll be finding out more about there. So I believe that you guys will find this to be a great story. Now, I will say this. The book is kind of wordy. There's like I said, I wrote this, a little bit ago. So a lot of words. I was in that Chris Claremont phase. So it's a lot happening, but it's story-driven stuff. It's actually dialogue that moves the stuff along, and it's not just words to be there. It's stuff that's actually going on, and I think you'll enjoy the story a lot. And of course, if you back this when you get it, I'm pretty sure there will be people doing reviews and things about it on YouTube. So you guys can talk about what you thought about it and things of that nature. But overall, this is the Indiegogo, and hopefully we will hit that goal. I kept it low, but we already got 2 backers, so that's a good start here. Just tell you a little bit about the characters and things. The major characters, particularly we'll talk about a little bit about the good guys. Let's talk about the bad guys first. The major bad guys, of course, are Night Evil, Nodus Talbane. Let's see, we can go down here and check them out here. Night Evil, Nodus Talbane, who's back there to the left, and we're over here on the poster on the right over here. In the front, there's Night Evil, Nodus Talbane, to the back left, and Ashen right here to the front left, or the front right, I should say, or the back right, I should say. These are our main bad guys. Ashen works with both of them, but they're both 2 different organizations. And what I notice is sometimes when I talk about them, it may seem like they're the same, but Night Evil heads up the Sisterhood of Lilith. Nodus Talbane, he heads up the Rise of Magic. 2 different organizations. They have 2 different goals. The Sisterhood of Lilith want to bring Lilith back to the earth and have her take over, whereas Nodus Talbane, he wants to ascend to power. He basically he wants to be that person that, if nothing else, rises to power. Like, he wants to be the president, but he wants to be more powerful than that. Even he wants to get as much power as he can. He thinks he can run things better than everybody. He just thinks he can do things just better than everybody, even God himself. He just thinks he knows what the world needs, period. So that's his goal. Ashen, her goal is similar, but not necessarily as big. She's not particularly trying to rise to power to control things herself. Her stuff is all personal. It's all, how much power can I have? What can I do? She wants to ascend to be kind of like a goddess herself, but she's very sneaky. So in one of the books, well, I'll tell you a little something, which we kind of allude to in the movie, but she wants to be part of the rise of magic, even though she's part of the Sisterhood of Lilith. So she wants to work with both organizations and kind of gain as much power and information stuff as she can. And that's why she's always, going behind people's back and doing stuff. There's a lot of iffy stuff about the Ashen character. So I tell you a little secret about her. Not really about her, but about when we first created this character. If you notice, this is one of my first drawings of Ashen, and what we were going to do was we were going to make her. Or actually, I was going to make her an anime character. So Ashen would be this one anime character, or excuse me, one manga character in the book. So she's just this one, but I figured that people might not get the joke because everybody doesn't, everybody who reads comics don't necessarily read manga and vice versa. So but I let that go. But that's why Ashen looks a little manga-ish. So the good guys we have over here, of course, you guys know Victor Locke, Decoy. I don't know if you guys know Decoy. Decoy hasn't popped up in anything specifically, so you might not know Decoy. He has his own one shot, and I know you know Victor, and of course Zombie Girl. Zombie Girl, obviously on the far right back there. So basically, you guys know about Victor Locke. He's a demon hunter. He's super powered. He's just as strong, just as powerful as the demons, and he can fight them hand to hand. He can fight ethereal beings. He can do whatever it takes to kick ass and take names on the supernatural front. Decoy, similar thing, except Decoy has some actual powers, and he can fight a little bit, not necessarily as well as Victor, but he's pretty good. He actually knows kung fu. Victor knows taekwondo and Krav Maga. Decoy knows kung fu, but it's he knows kung fu. No, he knows. There was a specific form of kung fu that I used to have. That I used to say he knows, but it doesn't come to me right now. So we're gonna go. He knows kung fu. Very Matrix moment right there. So Zombie Girl. You guys know Zombie Girl. Zombie Girl was a prostitute that was killed by the Ripper Jack, or it's a long story with the Ripper Jack, but she was killed by him and revived by Frankenstein Industries and released back onto the streets. And now she has a taste for human flesh, and she's on a path of revenge. And she also wants to find the person. Aside from just finding the person who killed her, she wants to, get revenge on the people who have harmed her in her past and things like that. So she's it's a lot going on with Zombie Girl as well. And of course, Zombie Girl used to be a friend of Victor's. So just keep that in mind for. Actually, we kind of talk about that in the book. You'll see that later on toward the end of the book. If any of you actually have one of the Zombie Girl books, you already know what happens there. Damius is supposed to be married. He's in his 20s. He was supposed to get married when he turned 18. He was supposed to marry one of the sisterhood. He did not. And so now they have a problem with him because he is one of their only actually fully human children, particularly fully human male. So that's very important to them. And he is supposed to marry one of them and help them with, aside from just helping them birth a fully human child, because that's one of the things going on here. The sisterhood, those in the Sisterhood of Lilith, a lot of times, particularly the breeders, all they can really breed are demonic or demon hybrid children. So him being this one human child, he's also a magic adept. So he has all this power and stuff. There's some twists and turns with him, but he's a very powerful mystic. Think about him as, I would say, like I would say think about him like Doctor Strange. If Doctor Strange didn't give a damn, that's Damius. He's very powerful. He just doesn't really care about anything. He's very he just kind of does what he wants to do and wants to be left alone. He's that guy. Lauren Talbane, she is the daughter of Nathyn Talbane. Now, the thing about this is Nathyn doesn't particularly pop up in this book. He's more of a hexcraft mechanics character. You hear about him. He pops up in the movie. You hear about him in the book sometimes, but you hear a lot more about Lauren, and she's kind of like she's kind of like the party hard heiress. She's got a lot of money, and she goes out and gets into a lot of trouble. So she's that girl. And there's Zombie Girl again. And so that's it, guys. Those are our guys. Those are our main guys right there. A little bit more Night Evil. Now, Night Evil herself is actually part demon. She's a child of Lilith, and she's like very old. But we don't really get into that in this book. That's what I'm telling you guys. Later on, we'll be talking about her origins and stuff and how old she is and things of that nature. But that's the thing with her. You have Lauren down here running from demons. This leads to something in the book, so you'll hopefully enjoy that story. But there's a whole lot that goes on in this book. So 80 pages, it's good stuff, guys. It is good stuff. So check this book out. So if no one has any questions, that is going to be it pretty much. So let's see. Was there anything else that I wanted to say? I'm going to. All right, and I think that is everything. So that's it, guys. That is my lunch for Epitaph Bread and Salt, beginning of the end graphic novel. And hopefully you guys will back it and enjoy it. Other than that, you take it easy, and hasta.